Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. I'm going to make a quick video here regarding ICP. It was a request from one of my community members, and we're just going to make them pretty quick here today because I want to make sure I don't lose my voice. I'm recovering from a cold. So I hope that you are having an amazing day, by the way. And if you're new to the channel, I just love teaching people how to trade. I've got a trading community with that specific purpose in place, and it's a really awesome scenario. So if you want to learn a lot and become a better trader, consider checking that out. I have a trading academy I'm rolling out with near the end of the month here. So take a look here at the simple moving averages on ICP, where we can see we're up over the 50 and underneath the 200. So we finally have enough trading data to be able to see the 200. And what that basically just means is probably going to average itself out right around $44. So that would probably be in the next major resistance level. So if you're going to set a profit target just below there would be ideal. But for the most part here, we're up over the 50 presently on the one-day chart. We still got about 5 or 6 hours left on this chart here. So, the candlestick hasn't officially closed yet, but it's looking very good. You can also see we're well under 70 on the RSI on the one day, basically just telling us we still have more room for growth and that it could very well continue higher. So all good stuff there. In the last two weeks of trading here for ICP, we've seen an increase of about 65, 66% from bottom to top in roughly 2 weeks. Albeit most of that is in the last 5 days, but still, it took a little while to ramp up. It hit its second bottom, bounced off of Fibonacci retracement at 24, and continued upwards. So all good stuff there for ICP. Taking a look at the 4-hour here, we can kind of see a lot of the growth took place in the last 8 hours. So it really took off. We've got this convergence here, so to speak, or you could pretty much consider it to be a golden cross, where the 50 intersects with the 200 in an upward fashion, kind of very similar to a MACD convergence. And coincidentally, I'm sure we probably had one recently. Actually, no, it was a few days ago, but we didn't actually need to have one because it bounced. So when you get a bounce off of, basically the MACD, it's effectively the same thing. This basically just tells us the bulls have been in control for the last 4 days straight for ICP. And that's a good sign. It basically just tells us we have a nice continuation there and that we should expect the price to continue to increase. Now, how much higher will it go? We shouldn't expect it to go too much higher. It does look like it's a bit on the exhausted side here. We can see we're at a 9 on TD sequential. Pretty much just telling us that, hey, this has been a good run. We got to calm down for a little while. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have to come crashing back down. It may just consolidate between 32 and 35, but the likelihood of it slowing down in the near future is pretty high, just based on the fact that it's had 9 times 4, 36 hours worth of continuation to the upside. And it needs to calm down because without any type of breathing room, you'll see the price fall dramatically, right? Or drastically, rather, when you have the price overextended. And we're seeing that right now, where it's a bit on the overextended side. We shouldn't expect much past this. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen cryptocurrencies go way past a 9 on TD sequential. It totally happens, right? Worst case scenario, or maybe best case if you're in the position right now, you'll see 4 extra candlesticks. That's usually the furthest it will go before it retraces or consolidates. Okay, so not to say it's totally over, but the likelihood of it not going much higher in the immediate future is pretty realistic, right? So we just want to be conservative, and if you're in the take profit situation right now, you have some profits, it wouldn't be terrible to consider taking some profits, trim a little off the top, and buy the next dip. It could effectively come down as low as 32. I don't think it'll come much lower than 32, but if it does, 29.62 is the second lowest point. Okay, so maybe consider adding go ahead and set a limit order for 32 and 29 in that range, and see if you get filled. Could actually happen. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at there for the 4-hour. Let's go ahead and see what the 1-hour tells us for the Ichimoku cloud. We're probably going to be free and clear of any price action, of course. When we have the price that high, you can see that tends to be the case. So all in all, we got all good signals here to basically tell us to leave our position open. Just note, if the price were to come back down and not increase in the immediate future, this would tell us we probably want to consider trimming our position or closing it. Okay. Again, it's just a conservative indicator, not like you have to necessarily honor that at all times, but it's the indicator I like to pay the most attention to because it seems to be the most consistent. So just bear that in mind. Ichimoku Cloud is definitely telling us that we are in good shape. And here's another thing too as well. This is what I was referring to earlier when you get these extra hours of continuation, right? So there's a 9 on TD sequential. Oh, and by the way, to rewind, TD sequential is telling us the 4th previous candlestick was lower. Therefore, it counts up to a 9. When you get to a 9, that's a state of exhaustion, and you should expect the price to retrace or consolidate. Well, in this case, you see it hit a 9, and it's hitting +3. So we're basically in overtime, the way I like to say it. So if you kind of think about this, we've got the 4-hour telling us that, hey, we've reached an exhaustive state. And the 1 hour is also communicating the same thing. How much higher do you think it's going to go, right? At least right now. it should do something along these lines here and have a nice steady consolidation before it legs up again. If it legs up now and goes much further, you can expect the price to come down faster, right? So again, a healthy continuation is one that looks like a staircase. This is a very large step, don't get me wrong. It's not the greatest, but it's also very good in the sense that if it calms down and kind of goes sideways for the next, just say 12 to 24 hours, then we'll be in good shape to see ICP do a lot more in the immediate future. If it goes up a little bit further right now and gets exhausted, or much further past the state of exhaustion that's already in, then we could see a retracement significant that might come down to somewhere in the range of 28 to 29. So again, these are just little things to look for. But big picture, truth be told, on the one-day chart, we still got plenty of room for growth, okay? So macro is telling us we've got a lot of room for growth. The micro is telling us we're a bit on the overextended side. So I just expect a brief pullback before the next leg up. And obviously make sure you add to your position as the price comes back down. And then as far as profit targets is concerned, because I got this question, of course, for what the necessary profit targets would be for ICP, it's pretty obvious. We can see 39 is a major Fibonacci retracement level based on the high being 35.17. Okay, so that being said, 39 even would be a good consideration, maybe even 38.50 if you want to be a little more conservative, because you always want to set your profit targets just below a major Fibonacci retracement level. And I teach this in my trading academy as well as to my community to make sure you understand that. Also note we got 41.06 as a potential profit target. So what, 41 or $40.50 might be appropriate, right? I would say the best case scenario though, because this was taken into consideration 2 weeks of progress, in the next 2 weeks, we could see the price upwards about $49. So again, if you're going to set a profit target number 3, which I recommend always setting 3 profit targets, $49 even would be a good target to shoot for regarding ICP's growth right now, okay? And that would net you a decent amount, because again, remember, it's up over 60% right now. That would get you an extra almost 40% from the current price, or technically a little bit more. Right around 44% from the current price. So, again, good stuff there from ICP. That this is definitely taken off. I think it's past due. It's, it's done well in the past too. It's been able to recover quite nicely, but it got beat down by, the El Salvador candle, and it couldn't recover ever since then. So just know that ICP is susceptible to sell-offs, major sell-offs from Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin showing a little more stability here today, and the fact that the price is as low as it probably could have gone, $21 is extremely low considering. Because think about this. This thing is down like 90%. It opened at 25. Or sorry, correction, $250 is what the open was for ICP back in May. Of course, May was the worst time to open an ICO for a coin based on the market being as damaged as it was back in May. But generally speaking, ICP is looking pretty good. And I think we should expect to see some good things here in the near future. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. I hope you learned something here today. If you want to learn more, of course, consider joining my community. Link in the description below, and I look forward to getting to know you better. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. I'll see you soon.